Hello, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
This is take 3. Welcome to our Phoenix Comic Fest year in review. This year's year in review. We wanted to sit down. We were there for 3 days, and we wanted to just kind of go over everything that happened, that we went through, that we saw, and maybe some talk about the evacuation. Because what's Phoenix Comic Fest without some kind of drama?
Right.
First off, we want to welcome everybody who is new to the channel or has just clicked on this video for whatever reasons you wanted to see what happened at Phoenix Comic Fest because you didn't go. We would ask two small little things. One, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you can get notifications. And we're doing stuff for movie reviews and con reviews and trailer reactions and stuff all the time. And then every Monday we try to do a long form, like pop culture,
Right.
Like news show or whatever discussion. The other thing that we ask is that you share this video with other con pop culture fans. We're trying to build a community here, and so that only happens if people share stuff that we do with others.
Right.
Am I asking for too much? I don't think so.
Sometimes, but not this time.
Not this time. So we want to get into it. We want to talk about the con itself. We did, I would say, like 6 total panels.
Well,
we had 3 guest panels that we did.
right.
And then we tried to do some of the smaller panels.
Right. But one got interrupted.
And we'll get into that in a minute. First off, let's talk about the celebrity panels we went to.
Okay.
Now, we have talked about this in the past, about how we felt that maybe the celebrities that were coming to con this year was a little wanting, is maybe the best way to put it. At least for us. A lot of other people had a really good time with some of the other panels. But the 3 we went to was on Friday, we went to Will Wheaton. On Saturday, we went to William Shatner. And then on Sunday, we went to Dan Folger. And everybody's like, who's Dan Folger? He's from Fantastic Beasts and Balls of Fury and Fanboys and all that kind of stuff. So, and he's done a bunch of musical theater and stuff. I didn't know about the musical theater stuff.
Yeah. And apparently he's on Goldberg's.
And apparently on the Goldbergs. And that's a show we don't watch because we don't have cable. So, and it's network sitcom.
Right.
Poo. So Will Wheaton was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was... He's been very open in the past about his depression and anxiety and all that stuff, and so people were interacting with him, and he was telling really good stories. And
Yeah. His panel was entirely questions. I guess all 3 of them were entirely questions. And, if you've ever been to a con and been to a panel where they allow questions, you understand that sometimes you get some really good questions, and sometimes you're like, oh, get to the point.
Yeah.
His were good.
Like the moderator came out and said, if you're going to have questions, make them good. She made a point of saying, make them good questions.
And actually ask questions.
Right.
Right. I've loved you forever.
The coolest thing that came out of that panel was Will Wheaton went on a 30-second diatribe and telling Comic-Con International, which runs San Diego, and WonderCon, pretty much to fuck off for suing over the use of the words Comic-Con.
Right.
And
because when I think of Comic-Con, I think of Comic-Con International, blah, 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 rights and...
Right. No, it's a pretty generic term, and that's what Salt Lake was actually counter-suing them, and we'll go a whole diatribe about that. But he made a point of pretty much telling them that, it's fuck off. That's a dick move. And that was really funny because they make a point of saying, don't curse, right? And so
we did.
We went and saw Shatner. He was engaging and fun and told really good stories. I don't think he actually answered a real question the whole time.
5 minutes later, he'd be like, what was your question?
Yeah.
Did I answer it?
That panel was short, 45 minutes, but it was perfect. I was starting to get antsy. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm getting done. But he was fun. He did a lot of really cool stuff. And then on Sunday we went and saw Dan Folger. The room was maybe a quarter full.
Yeah. It was in the big.
It was in the big room.
Big room.
Questions were hit and miss. And he was given stuff
Lots
away.
of little kids.
Lots of little kids because of Fantastic Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions about Fantastic Beasts. I've seen interviews with Dan in the past. I really like him a lot, but he's a very slow, methodical, like ADD kind of like gets sidetracked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was fun. I liked it, but it got to the 45-minute mark, and I'm like, I need to get up and move. And
he asked multiple times, "What was your question again?"
Yeah.
Like, because he's rummaging through his backpack while they're asking the question.
yeah, and he took his shoes off. He did some soft shoe, like did some stuff, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
We went to 2 other panels. The first one on Friday we went to was this YouTube.
YouTube Killed the Video Star was the
name of it,
but it was more like some things about that you might want to think about running a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
so.
that was really good. And through the process of the panel, it was a smaller panel. I say maybe 40 people were in that.
Yeah.
And through the process of the panel, the panelists, the people who were running the panel, got information from us about what we're doing and stuff, and kind of was using as an example, because it kind of seemed like we were further down the line than what a lot of the other people in the room were.
Yeah.
And so they several of them made a point of coming over and talking to us after the panel, which I thought was really cool. Thank you guys for all of that, and we got to do some networking, and we'll be talking to all of them probably today. We did a Star Wars canon panel, which was really good. They just kind of talk about canon, the new canon.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
that was a really good panel. The panelist looks like a friend of ours, like just an older version of her.
Yeah.
And she was just like bang, bang, bang. She actually at one point in time, we were at about the 50-minute mark in the panel. She's like, "This is a 2-hour panel. We're trying to jam it in."
Yeah.
It was
so much.
It was really good. And then Sunday we went to the Star Wars authors panel. And a bunch of the Star Wars authors were here, part of the Del Rey book booth and stuff like that. That's one of the best panels I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, they had a moderator who was an editor from Del Rey. They didn't take any questions. The room was like maybe 60 people. Very intimate.
He asked the questions.
He asked the questions, and then all of them answered, and it's different.
One of the guys, and I don't read all the books, so I don't remember what his name was, but he was there on the original A New Hope. He wrote
he was the novelization of A New Hope.
So
Alan Dean, I can't. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan.
So he was telling a couple of. I could listen to a panel of just him because he was telling some stories about being on set on A New Hope when they had no idea what they were doing.
And talking to people at the time, he was like, "Oh, this is just some guy," and later on, it's like some, ends up being this special effects, like, pioneer, guru, and they all told really good stories, and they were all really engaging and talked about the process for them and
honest about the process.
And honest about the process.
You're not just going to write a little, novelization and Star Wars is going to call you and say, "Hey, come write for us." It's a long process.
It's a long process. And all of them were so good. And then they were doing they were giving out free books and free posters and signing everything at noon. So we went to the 10:30 panel. We went like, we're going to walk around for a little bit. We get down there at 12:02 and the line was closed already.
Yeah.
And I was bummed because the last shot, I just finished last shot, and Daniel Older. It's
Daniel
Older. Daniel Older is the author, and he was there, and he read part of the book too. So every time he would talk, I would like, I remember that part. But he was signing the poster of the last shot, and I really wanted one of those. I have Thrawn around here from Timothy Zahn last year, so I'm getting this collection of book covers that are signed. But we got there, and like lines closed. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we should have just gone and gotten in line immediately.
Immediately, right. We talked to a bunch of the different vendors throughout the weekend and how they were doing and stuff like that. Our friends over at Tino Evil were there this year. We talked to them throughout the weekend, and we got to them Sunday, and they said they actually ended up having a really good weekend. I got a shirt from them. If you've been all over our Instagram, it's the Thanos and the Iron Throne.
Yep.
She got the
Central City
track team running team club for Flash. I got a shirt that's the timeline of spaceships, and it starts with a TARDIS and ends with a TARDIS, and it's got all the different. I've been wanting that one forever. We got some art. We didn't get a card from the guy, so we've been trying really hard to track down who it was.
Yeah.
Thanos and Judy Wicker. But this is the main one. This is Jupiter Jet. Hi guys. Jason Inman and Ashley V. Robinson, who Jason Inman is the Inner Geekdom champ for the Schmodown right now. They wrote this book. They wrote the whole series of comics. They crowdfunded it and everything. I've been waiting for all of them to come out together. It's one big. I'm kind of a weirdo. I'll get individual comics, but I want the variant covers.
Yeah.
Or I want the big novel, right? The big version.
Yeah. So you just have the whole thing right there.
I'd rather spend $20 on this than $25 on 5 of them, right? And that kind of thing. And then you get all the variant covers and stuff. We went by their booth several times, got the chance to talk with them. Super awesome, amazing, great people.
Yeah, they're super friendly.
And we got to talk about Doctor Who and Star Wars and last Solo and
Blue Apron
and like we always go by and make sure they were doing okay and make sure, because I want the vendors to do well. And so
this isn't a new thing. He does this every year.
I do this every year. I do it part of our medieval reenactment stuff. When we go to a war, I talk to the vendors and we know, make sure they're having a good time.
Because this is their livelihood, right? And they're not going to come back if they don't.
Right, and I want my con. I've talked about this in the past. I want my con to do well.
Yeah.
And so, some of the other stuff I want to talk about. It's not negative, but just kind of what happened. Attendance was down.
Yes. They announced it officially. Apparently, maybe before the floor opened to all the merchants, they announced that it was down 30%.
30%. Now, we have nothing official. This is just speculation, but I feel it's the tier system of pavement. They upped the prices, and when they had a certain number at one tier, and when that number was sold out, they moved to a higher tier.
I think that's part of it. I think also everything that happened last year.
And there was the other thing I was going to say.
Yeah, there was some folks that I believe maybe got some misinformation. We saw some postings about I can't come, they won't allow my costume, and then we saw folks dressed pretty much like how those people dress, and so they did. I think there was just some misconceptions out there about what they were and weren't allowing. There were a lot of awesome cosplay.
Right, the cosplay on the Blue Ribbon Army page, the broad page, people have been posting some of their favorite ones, and where was that? Like,
I know. I thought we saw a lot, and then we didn't.
We didn't. There was so Saturday night we decided to stay late because there were some panels like the late night panels that were going to happen, and so we decided to stay late on Saturday night because we weren't staying downtown this year. And Friday we didn't. We were going to stay late Friday because they were doing Rocky Horror, and the last panel got done that we wanted to go to got done at like 4:30.
Yeah.
And we made it to 6, and we're like, I want to go home and have a beer and sit on the couch and whatever.
And the Rocky Horror didn't start till like 9:30.
9:30. So I
we
wasn't
weren't
gonna
make it.
Yeah, it just wasn't gonna work. And so we didn't stay late on Friday. We probably should have. So we decided to stay late on Saturday. We get to one of the panels that we wanted to get to, and he gets the first sentence into the panel, and the fire alarm goes off. So they evacuate the entire convention center. We're all outside. I live streamed a lot of it. People made it. They made it pretty good. Like they made it.
Yeah, there was a party going out on Monroe.
Yeah, and they did.
We got evacuated outside of security, which sucked, but they weren't letting you. You had to go to the first exit that you could get to, and all the people that got evacuated out onto Monroe, that is inside the security line. So they didn't have to line up.
The beer tent was out there.
Yeah, they didn't have to line up to go back in through security once everything got open.
If we would have gone out, like we would have sat in the canteen. I had beers until it was time to go. Unfortunate, but what ended up happening, and we've got confirmation from multiple sources on this story. Nobody pulled a fire alarm. There was no bomb threat. There was none of that kind of stuff. What happened was a panel was faulty.
Yeah.
And it's something completely random outside of everyone's control.
Yeah.
It just happened to happen Saturday night. Now, if it was a proper, like somebody pulled the fire extinguisher or whatever, the fire
alarm
or whatever, they would have done it at like noon on Saturday when the hall was full, right?
Yeah. There was only still maybe a couple thousand people.
Right. We made a point. I made a point of crushing every rumor when I saw it online that night, and then the next day, which was on Sunday. I had a really good time. I really enjoyed the con. I feel like we've talked about this a little bit over the last couple days. I felt a little disconnected from the con since we didn't stay downtown the whole weekend, but that's fine. We're making a choice not to do that because we're going to London and we want to spend our money in London in the fall.
Yeah.
And so we did I won't say the economy version. I won't say budget. The economy version of the con. We still bought stuff. We went and had dinner at Seamus McCaffrey's with Joe and Sly, who cover San Diego for us, and we caught up with a bunch of friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I had a really good time. We talked about it on the way out. I was ready to go home on Sunday, but I wasn't ready for it to be over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah, I had a good time. I wouldn't say it was my most favorite Phoenix comic whatever fest.
I was going to get into
fantasy,
that last. Yeah.
Fantasia of
comic face. We'll get into that in a second.
But yeah, I had a good time. I get the little bit of disconnect. I didn't really mind going home versus staying in a hotel, whatever. But we've kind of decided maybe we should next year plan our bigger comic con fest thing to not be the Phoenix one. Maybe we'll go for a day or something and actually go experience another one.
We're discussing Salt Lake because it's a little bit of a far drive, but it's a big con. It's within driving distance, and
Anaheim
Anaheim for WonderCon. That's in March. The problem with that is we're trying to go to Ultra in March too, so that kind of that's gonna work. Las Vegas, the Square Egg that runs Phoenix, does one in Las Vegas in September. So we're looking at that kind of stuff because we can stay in Vegas for cheap. We'd always love to do San Diego, but San Diego you have to win the lottery essentially to get in.
Yeah. Maybe if we can, and we talked about this too. Maybe if we can get in on Sunday or Thursday, which is a little easier, and then just go experience some of the outside the con things and go to the beach and do San Diego.
Yeah, but there's we want some point of reference to what our con is like compared to whatever everybody else's.
The grass is always greener, right?
Right. So. We just want to find out what it's like, and I think they did some really good. The security was really well done. Security was. And
15 minutes was the max, and that was Saturday morning.
Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. With the main rush, and I felt safe. I thought it was very well organized. They handled everything really well. I was really impressed with how they ran the con from over the last few years. Management at Square Egg has really gotten their poo together.
Yeah,
and is really what it came down to.
Yeah.
However, Sunday morning, they announced, that the con is still going on for Sunday. They fixed the alarm.
Yeah.
And then they announced that they're changing the name once again because San Diego is douchebags. And now it's going to be called Phoenix Fan Fusion. And the reason they're going to Fan Fusion is because they, getting away from Comic-Con. And they felt that Comic Fest didn't quite encompass what they're doing. It's not necessarily a comic book con anymore. It's more of a fan fusion of different fandoms and everything together.
Except it's impossible to say.
It's the PFF hashtag PFF. Somebody said they should do Phoenix Fan PHAN Fusion PHUSION. So PH. I understand that the reason for it, but it has to happen. But it's a terrible name. It's a horrible name.
so many. We talked to a couple people, and they're like so many better ideas.
Right. But they call the Las Vegas Fan Fusion. They call the one in Minneapolis the Minneapolis Fan Fusion. So
I get the idea.
It's brand loyal. Brand. It's like heroes and villains.
Yeah.
I
get the idea. It's just the implementation that sucks.
So overall, I think we had a good time. We're looking forward to next year. We're looking forward to going to another con. I'm already missing seeing everybody in costume and shopping and hanging out in panels. I'm already missing that.
We missed a lot of friends that didn't come, which was sad. But
Yeah, but it is what it is, and I think they're going in a positive direction. So that's overall, that's our thoughts. We said 12, 15 minutes, and now we're at 20. Not even sorry. So what do you guys think of Phoenix Comic Fest this year? Did you have a good time? Did you miss a panel that you really wanted to go to? What were some of the panel things that you saw, or maybe a cosplay that you thought was awesome? Let us know. Leave us a comment in this video. Like the video while you're here too. And like I said, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. We're trying to get to 300 subscribers and trying to move forward with everything. So please do that, all of that. You can get a hold of us on social media too, at the Pop Culture Cult on Facebook, Pop Culture Cult 1 on Instagram, at Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. Oh, okay. And and Stardust, download it for free. Follow us first. Till next time. Good morning now.